Good mid-afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There seems to be a little bit of a glare that's going on from up there. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Now there's two flaring glares in the back. What's a girl to do? This podcast is brought to you by Zephyr Hills. If you're thirsty, reach for Zephyr Hills. Right, Nick? You're supposed to be drinking more water. Not Nick Gicoletto. Nick Pokenis. She knows what I'm talking about. Oh, that's great. It's going to be a little bit difficult for my near 40-year-old eyes to read this paper. But you know what? We press on. We will continue. Happy Monday to everybody. Happy AllStar Week to everyone. We're going to break in a little bit. I want to go through a little bit of player rankings and just, talk a little bit about, where we're at. Look back on the week that was, week 14. And, talk about week 15. And I'm going to probably say this more than once in this podcast, but there is only 6 weeks left. And I did not realize that we play 2 teams 3 times this season because we actually got it right and extended our season this year. So, having said that, looking at the rankings of our season and looking at 45 games back for Eat My Shorts, with Mandalorians having the 22 and a half game lead. Yeah, is that mathematically correct? 22 and a half, 22 and a half. Yeah. So a 22 and a half game lead over Eat My Shorts, who is exactly Mandalorians is 22 and a half games back from first place. So, having said that, if my math is somewhat correct, now Eat My Shorts, who was last week the comeback kid, and based off of a little bit of talk from Shane about, hey, your name needs to get changed, Jordan decided to say Eat My Shorts, and I think it's directed at Shane and saying, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm probably out. But technically, as of right now, the way that I see it, you are not out yet. Jordan, this needs to be your week to come back. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I want to actually follow my script a little bit here. First off, I want to give thanks to Walker for recapping week 13 for me. I wasn't under the weather. I'm dealing with an injury at work. And what I mean by that is I've done something to my foot. I do not know what I've done. I just consider it to be working on my pimp walk. But it is indeed, in fact, a somewhat of a serious injury. I am, however, still working, and that's not really a good thing because I walk anywhere between 7 and 14 miles a day. Yes, no, I'm not exaggerating. And I've been doing this now for 4 years, and it's kind of taken its toll on me physically. And anyways, I am dealing with some work shit. I'm dealing with this now, workers' comp. Never dealt with this before. So it's just a fucking shit show. It really is. Hopefully nobody ever has to deal with this. But meanwhile, I have received 0 medical treatment. That's the thing. I'm dealing with workman's comp, and they are just, one side is busy trying to get my take and get my defense built against the employer whom I'm still working for and have no problem working for. It's just I need to have my foot looked at. And they're like, yeah. We'll get to that. But first we want to see if you're lying. Okay. Well, I mean, it's my foot. It's not like, I'm having something done with my fucking nose or something, like my teeth. Like, no, I'm an employee that works at a job that uses their feet. Anyways, I didn't bring you here to talk about my problems because we all got fucking problems. I want to talk about fantasy baseball. Okay, so let's get into that. All right, so again, I want to thank Walker for recapping week 13 for me. Happy All-Star Week. I think I mentioned that already, but happy All-Star Week. This is a week where we take 4 days, well, 3 days technically, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because baseball comes back for some teams on Thursday. Speaking of which, if you're an Angels fan or a Dodgers fan, fuck your teams, okay? How do you get the Sunday before the All-Star break off? Like, okay, so Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Clayton Kershaw, their pitching staff, all of them get an extra day of rest. Seems a little shady, a little bullshit. Now, obviously, every team doesn't come back on Thursday, but still, come on, man. Fuck off. Play baseball, man. That's what you're here to do. So, anyways, my bad. Had to read a message. Hey, thanks, commissioners. Appreciate the extra move. That was real sweet of you guys. I was going to bed last night and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I haven't been really told whether or not we're going to have an extra move or not. And I was like, hello. And then Shane's like, yeah, if there's a vote. I'm like, I'm sitting right next to one. I know Eric wants another one. Yeah, so let's go. Let's go. Let's get that extra move. Oh my gosh, yeah. I think I pulled it up just a minute ago too. I think I still have the leagues. Yeah, 46. I have the most moves. So, I'm just going to hold on to that title. Nobody can take it from me. So yeah, appreciate the extra move. Thanks for recognizing in just a little bit, you're like the government. You recognize just a smidgen that we're getting fucked over here. And then, what's really funny is, okay, so we're getting fucked out here with injuries and it's bad. It's bad. But then when you go to the waiver wire, there's a double fucking going on because there's nobody out there. Now there's some bats, but you're like, I don't really need bats. Pitching is the name of the game. Put a pin in that statement right there because I'm going to come back to that later if I remember to come back to it at all. So anyways, we're like, ooh, we get an extra move. There's nothing out there. Fucking vast wasteland of just horse shit. Anyways, happy extra week of moves week and All-Star week. I listened to the podcast from Walker last week, but I do not remember, Mr. Walker, what your matchup of the week was. I believe it was between Jason and Josh. And I think the reason for this is you were identifying that these two teams are still fighting and they're somewhat viable in their playoff hunt. And I believe I'm looking right at it. Benchwarmers won that matchup 7-5. So it wasn't a big margin of victory, but it's closing the gap because Josh is now 4 games out of 6th place. 4 games, nipping at Mandalorians. So this will be very interesting coming down the stretch for these 3 teams that are in 6th, 7th, and 8th, because Jason is 8 games back from Mandalorian. So these last 6 weeks, man, buckle up. Even Ray, she's only, she's got 39 and a half games back. So that puts her at, my math sucks, 17 games back from Mandalorian. So, hey, just a little chip here and there. If she's able to get out of this little funk and groove that she's in. Yeah, so let's recap a little bit about week 14 before I get into what I wanted to talk about in terms of players and then the look ahead. So last week, 14, Trippin' Billies and Walker faced off against one another. This matchup went in Walker's favor, 7-5, but I'm pretty sure it was one of those Sunday things. And Shane just dealt with a lot of issues this week, and he still ended up putting up really good batting stats. As a matter of fact, he took every single batting stat was his score. He took no pitching stats. And again, put a pin in that. We'll get back to that later. But no stolen bases for Shane, which I find to be crazy because I believe the week that we played, which we play again this week, we'll get back to that as well. But that dude couldn't stop stealing bases. And now he got none. But, man, you got great offensive output from Matt Olson, who is starting to come around, Trey Turner, and Giancarlo Stanton. And then, of course, just a myriad of offense from every player. Ty France came back. Kyle Schwarber slowed down. Teoscar Hernandez is starting to heat up. He went and picked up Brandon Nimmo, and that dude put up 7 runs for him just in that short period of time that he had him. But pitching, again, is the name of the game when it comes to Walker. Garrett Cole, Dylan Cease, Justin Verlander. Woodruff didn't even really have that good of a week, but Sandy Alcantara, and again, we'll put that back in. And then Tristan McKenzie was Shane's workhorse, but just not enough to overcome some of the issues. Chris Sale comes back. He's pitching his second game, and bye-bye Birdie. Out probably 5 to 8 weeks with a broken pinky. So just, man, the injury bug, dude, it's such a son of a bitch. It doesn't matter, and that was a comebacker. But, yeah, you can't really compete when somebody's throwing up in a 7-week period, 101 strikeouts, 23 from Garrett Cole. Must be really nice when you're playing like shitty fucking rosters. Cincinnati. I mean, Boston's good, so I can't really go there and say that line, but yeah, 11 strikeouts and then 12 in the Boston game. Dylan Cease, man, just a year too early for that dude. 9 against Cleveland and then 8 against Minnesota. Those two rosters, they're able to put up some offensive stuff. So, and man, that Verlander story, fuck that guy, man. Not only does he have a big, schlong, but, whatever. He's walking on the mound on 3 legs, bitch. Bench warmers and Jason's matchup. I already told you a little bit about that. 7-5 was that one. Let's look how close this one was. Batting went all bench warmers' way. I mean, that was a dominant, just 13 home runs, 32 RBI, even with the 13 home runs. He only won that by 8. 33 runs, close in the stolen bases. Pitching, he got 2, the saves and holds, and 80 strikeouts. 1 strikeout. That is huge. Holy shit balls. That's pretty crazy. ERA was it definitely in Red Sox Nation's favor. But, man, 1 strikeout, the deciding factor. Holy monkey. Freeman coming back. Devers doing things. Lindor. I mean, Josh, when you look at it, like your team is primed to start turning it around for you. This is a team. When I look at your batting, Freddie Freeman, Adley Rutschman, Devers, Lindor, Harris is turning into a new gear. Soto. When you start to mention those names, get out of the way. This is going to be a problem for teams coming down the stretch. Spencer Strider, he's like a one-pitch wonder, man. And if that fastball gets tuned up like it did the other day, his other stuff just isn't really elite. So how long are the Braves actually going to, compete? Honestly, and this is just my opinion, looking at it from the Brave in me, they're going to go out there and they're going to sign a pitcher. They understand this year is not necessarily about the offensive strength, but the pitching strength. It's, baseball season to season. And I really think that they're probably going to go out there. If Montas comes back this weekend, look for him. I wouldn't put them out. I'd call him a dark horse in the Castillo race. That would be something interesting to bring in a big arm, because if anything over this series with the Mets proven, Charlie Morton's not necessarily going to be the answer. Max Fried Freddie Freeman, Max Fried, and damn, why am I drawing a blank on their pitching staff? Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson, yeah, drop that bitch and he gets too quick. Just fuck that guy. He's back on waivers again if anybody wants him, but whatever. But yeah, so anyways, I don't know. I think Spencer Strider is probably going to be a bullpen guy later in the season. So, I mean, but again, he gave you the most strikeouts of, anybody on your team this week. So you definitely want to hold. But looking at like Corey Kluber, what the hell, man? Merrill Kelly, Logan Webb doing things for Jason. But coming down to the last day of the week, everybody hates Sundays, man. And then this week we get 2 Sundays. Ugh, can't believe it. So Benchwarmers takes that one 7-5. And his slowly, Benchwarmers is like, I'm just silent but deadly, baby, coming back. I think he beat me, and then he beat Eric, and now he just beat Jason. And we'll look at this week's matchup for him. 8-4 Mandalorians over Big Bad Vlad. And with that, he jumped into 6th place. Mentioned his earlier. Not really on the batting stats. He won by 1 run. And Big Bad Vlad has the speed on his side with 9 stolen bases to Mandalorian's 3. But this one was not really a big offensive put out, but it was the Mandalorian's pitching that carried him with 5 of the 6 categories going in his favor. And again, the score was 8-4. Big offensive numbers from him coming from DJ LeMahieu and Anthony Rizzo. Those Yankees just went ape shit this week. Talk a little bit more about some other Yankees. But Austin Riley, man, 5.45, and he got that all-star bid. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. put up some decent numbers. Will Smith and Kyle Tucker and Rodriguez, man, rookie of the year. And he's got to be hands down the rookie of the year. Totally under the radar guy. Thought it was going to be Bobby Witt. Thought it might be Spencer Torkelson, but here comes J-Rod doing great things, big things. Pitching staff-wise, looking at Mandalorians, like Jordan Lyles is not who the Baltimore Orioles think that Jordan Lyles is. Like how they're getting it done with that bullshit pitching staff is beyond me. You got Robbie Ray and Shohei Ohtani doing good things for you. But man, Hader got blown up this weekend. Max Fried again did okay. Shamanaya, Zach Wheeler got tuned up a little bit. You see Charlie Morton had his issues. And Luis Severino, speaking of him, and he goes down. So 8-4, Big Vlad Vlad still holding on to 2nd place. And we'll get into a little bit about the gap that is between them. Now, let's give it up for one Eric Croft. 6 weeks struggle. Just, man, the downward slide. But he still has not lost the momentum in the top 6. He's holding on to 4th place right now, and he got a big win this weekend against Eat My Shorts, formerly known as Comeback Kids. Jordan, man alive, 7. The average went to swinging low, but both these teams struggled a little bit in getting batting stats, and it really just came down to who was going to hit more. And you see the batting average went in swinging low's favor just by a teeny bitty little. But, yeah, close in the pitching stats, man. I mean, Eric, you got to start asking yourself. I mean, yes, you won 11-1, but you won by 0.04 in the ERA and 0.21 in the whip. All right, so, I mean, is this going to be able to get done against the upper echelon of people that are above you? But he does have some good offensive. Look at Marcus Semien, man. Fuck me. That dude does not need to be on your team. My gosh. Eugenio Suarez. He, gave you a little bit of offense. Jake Cronenworth, Randy Rosarina. He's quietly been one of the best outfielders in the league. And then Paul Goldschmidt kind of slowing down a little bit. Luis Roberts, picking, like, just quietly being one of the best White Sox on the team. And then pitching coming from Nola and Barrios. Man, Barrios, I think, put up 13 strikeouts in one game. And then, of course, he had Max Scherzer doing Max Scherzer things. It's like, man, you start to look at some of these rosters of teams that are down there in the bottom, and you're like, oh, if I could just get that guy. But you're going to have to give up something in order to get it. And is the juice worth the squeeze? Last but not least, a house divided this week. D's Nuts versus Rayford Peaches. It was a little bit questionable until coming down to the weekend. I was not happy with what my offense was putting out. And then I was able to separate myself from Ra and pulled away with all the batting stats, even though it came down to the weekend that was, and obviously I don't need to mention it. Oops. Matt Carpenter went off on my bench. Those are just, they put a pit in your stomach when you see the numbers that he put up that day. But thankfully, I was able to grab a few of those runs and home runs in that game from one Aaron Judge. Pitching, not what you want moving forward. I have the same questions about my pitching staff. Over 4 ERA. I was able to get at least 2 wins, but that is not good. But then again, I started looking and I was putting along with pitching stats. I did not have a full staff in my mind. I have been converted. I don't know what happened, but I am starting to look at relief pitchers, and I can just see Walker doing this with his beard and being like, oh, yeah, that's right. I made it happen. And, I don't want to give up a stat anymore. And it proved to be I was able to tie instead of losing. I didn't get the saves plus holds that I needed, and it really sucked because the Boston relief pitcher kind of let me down, but I did at least get 2 and I was able to just hold her to nothing, and we were able to tie that. But other than that, quality starts, I won by 1. I won by 2 wins. The strikeouts I was able to take, but that was not a performance that I am proud of. I understand, Josh. Those numbers would not have competed against a team such as proud as yours, and you would have, or maybe, I don't know, I didn't look at the final score, you would have possibly beaten me. But yay, we didn't face each other this week. I faced her, and we move forward. So, moving forward, week 14 is in the books. Those were your scores. Now we're looking ahead at week 15. Well, we're going to do that in a little bit. We're going to take a short commercial break. That's right. This message is brought to you by Zephyr Hills. Love being a spokesperson for a company that I get zero money for. And we're back. Welcome back from that commercial break. I hope that it was as beneficial to you. Oh, let's give a little congratulations to the first to 100. Jordan, you got the first 100 losses, bro. I know, it's upsetting. You don't want to hear it. Oh, hey, we got 2 first 100s. My bad. I just realized. Let's give a shout out to old Walker. That's right. I'm clapping with my fuck you fingers. The first to 100 wins happened this weekend as well. 100 and 100. First to 100 for 2 teams. 1 wah wah and 1 fuck you. All right, moving forward, we will get into the 100 wins and what this means for him moving forward. But I wanted to look at players and their respective positions, and let's just look at some of the top people that are Yahoo and what they've done for us fantasy-wise in each category. I will not go through all of them. I chose outfielders, starting pitchers, and relief pitchers because those we have the most of with the number of 10. And then the others, I chose the top 5. So let's start from the top and work our way down to the bottom. At catcher's position, and I will make a few mentions of, you'll hear mentions made with some of the names. Alejandro Kirk, is the number one catcher in our league as of right now. He was FREE free. For me, I don't remember if he got drafted or picked up, but I believe Kyber Ruiz was who I keep thinking of. But yeah, free. Alejandro Kirk, free. Will these numbers maintain? I don't know. He hasn't hit a home run in a while. I know he just hit one the other day, but the bottom line is he's consistently playing. And yeah, so Alejandro Kirk, JT Realmuto, Will Smith, Wilson Contreras, and Dalton Varsho. Those are your top 5 catchers moving forward. I do not have the list pulled up, so I will not be able to say who is coming up right behind them. This is what I wrote down. First base, Paul Goldschmidt. He kind of slowed down a little bit. Freddie freaking Freeman. My goodness. Austin Riley, CJ Crone, and Pete Alonso. No Vlad. He was a first-round pick. No Vlad. Now, will he start to turn it around? Who knows? But as of right now, he's not, in my opinion, giving first-round quality. But we still have more baseball to go. Second base, Trey Turner, Mookie Betts. I hate this. They play on the same team. Trey Turner is not playing second base. He's shortstop, Mookie Betts. But, hey, position availability is what they can play. Here's one for you that is going to get mentioned more than once. Who the fuck knew that Brandon Drury was going to do this? Trade chip, I bet. Watch out. This dude might go to a different team. Now, a lot of people have suggested that, okay, this is because he's getting more playing time in Cincinnati and the fact that Cincinnati is a ballpark where people can get some good stats. But I believe his road stats are just as well. But second base, again, I'll mention him again. He was FREE free, and I believe at the time, Reader was the one that captured him. Tommy Edman and Marcus Semien rounding out the last 2 in second base. Again, that's why I fucking hate the fact that I gave up a top-tier second baseman because up to this point, I've only mentioned one player on my team that I can tell. Yeah, one player, and I picked him up for free. Moving forward, third base, J-Ram, he put out first-round quality numbers and has still Rafael Devers, Austin Riley again, Manny Machado, and again, Brandon Drury. So, again, when you have that flexibility of that cat, man, what a piece to have on your team. And where is he right now? Eat my shorts. Again, is that somebody that, hey, might need to trade for? I don't know. Ask yourself. Shortstop, Trey Turner, Dansby Swanson, Francisco Lindor, Tommy Edman again. And a surprise to me at shortstop, Bobby Witt. Wow, I did not see that coming. So that one was a surprise to me. But Bobby Witt and Tommy Edman probably need to watch out for Corey Seager and Marcus Semien in that shortstop category. Now, outfielders. And we all know, everyone has made mention or been aware, big trade happened this week involving the two, probably with it, obviously their 2 top 10 outfielders. However, another piece that will be mentioned later, a top tier starting pitching. Oh, fuck was I thinking? Anyways, Aaron Judge, Yordan Alvarez, top 2 outfielders. Oh, man. Jordan, stay healthy, man, because if I can just keep up those 2, man, I got to get some pitching. And then here it is, the rookie, J-Rod, Mookie Betts, Harper's on the IL, Luis Robert, Kyle Schwarber, Kyle Tucker, Mike Trout, and again, third time mentioned, Brandon Drury. Those are top 10 outfielders. Moving on to starting pitchers. Nobody would have thought, nobody saw this coming. Shane McClanahan. But here's my little note for him. Is he on a pitch? Is he on an innings limit? Because if you're riding that horse, how much longer? I mean, the Rays do not seem to be in contention right now. They are not winning. They are the most injured team in the majors. And just how much longer is Shane McClanahan going to be thrown out there? That's a big question. So, I mean, in short, Jason, do you trade him? Do you trade him for a piece that you think would help you in the long run try to get back in the top 6? And does somebody trade for him to help keep them in the top 6? Or also another team, down there too. It's a risk, in my opinion, to keep him. And then we're going to mention the honorable mentions with sidebar notes. Sandy Alcantara, Justin Verlander, Corbin Burns, that was the other player involved in that Judge trade, Tony Gonsolin, Alek Manoah, Shohei Ohtani, Cole, Cease, Musgrove. And here's what I'm fixing to mention. Sandy Alcantara, Justin Verlander, Cole, and Dylan Cease. 4 of the top 10 belong to the number 1 team, Rally Monkeys. And then 3 of the top 10 belong to Trippin' Billies, Gonsolin, Manoah, and Musgrove. But I see Trippin' Billies sitting down there at 5th. And I have to ask myself, is it pitching that is carrying him and batting that is holding him back? We shall see. I don't know. Might be time to trade one of the arms for one of the bats that you need. I don't know. I mean, Trippin' Billies, you got a good batting team, right? Like you have Trey Turner. You have, maybe it was just because you're in 5th place because, but when you start to think, all right, Matt Olson, Noah Arenado, he's kind of quieted down. Trey Turner, what's JD Martinez actually done? Like he's got the batting average, but now he's ranked 102. Holy shit, he plummeted, bro. He's only got 9 home runs, but he's got a 302 batting average. Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Walker. So again, I feel like that Shane, you'd be in the market for a batting stat, because I can tell you now, I don't believe that Walker's going to trade one pitcher that's on his roster. I mean, why would he? That's what's been his, horse in the entire race, because all he has to do is pull a batting stat or 2, i.e. 2 stolen bases to none, and then he's won the matchup because he's winning and he does this every year. Fucking A. Anyways, relief pitchers. Halsey, Holmes, Lopez, Clase, Diaz, Jansen, Bard, Barlow, Sewald, and King. Those are our top 10. And bench warmers has top 2. He has the top 2 relief pitchers in the league. And Trippin' Billy has the 3rd and 5th. So again, I say this. It might be time, Mr. Shane. I mean, what the fuck do I care? Your team's obviously doing fine. You're in the top 5. But I'm just making observations here. My team could obviously benefit from, I don't know, every aspect of the game, possibly pitching more than anything. But we move on. So I've mentioned that Eric is back after a 6-loss string in a row and won 11-1. This is another long week of competition, so make sure you're setting your rosters, because it does start back on Thursday. So it's Monday today, All-Star Week. We have the Home Run Derby tonight, right? And then the All-Star Game tomorrow. Everybody gets a day off on Wednesday, and then teams start trickling back in on Thursday. And I think Thursday has a few double headers. So, mentioning that, we have 6 weeks left. And again, I mentioned earlier, 6 weeks. And nobody's eliminated yet, even though there's one team that just celebrated 100 losses and one that celebrated 100 victories. We do not have a big enough gap between 6th and 10th to say 10th is out. So, man alive, I believe that this week might be the defining week for 1 or 2 teams to finally get placed in the elimination bracket. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Anyways, let's look at week 15. Trippin' Billies versus D's Nuts. This is a matchup where Shane and I are going to talk some shit, and I really feel like that Shane's still going to come out on top. He beat me last time that we played each other, 7-3, and I'm not excited about it because I just am not. He's got better pitching than I do, and he bitches that I just picked up Drew Rasmussen. Well, bro, you had him. Why'd you drop him? Because he got injured? Because you had to make a roster move? Okay. But I still don't have better pitching. That doesn't make me that much better than you. So shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Anyways, moving forward. Bench warmers and eat my shorts. I see Josh right now, and he is going, yes, This is my moment. I think Josh is looking right now. This is what I was referring to earlier. Sir, Jordan, if you're out there right now, one thing that I would highly encourage you to do, use your moves, sir. You have players that are on your active roster on the IL. You have players that are not producing. There might be a death valley of talent, but I guarantee you could find you a little sunflower or a rose down there that's doing better than a player that is literally doing nothing for you sitting there on the injured list. If you want to make any type of statement, this is your week to do so. You must, in my opinion, you must actively search for 3 players that you feel like could help your team in this elongated week. Sir, do your due diligence and make a statement if you want us to really eat some shorts and not count you out. And you would have to win and win considerably against bench warmers. However, I don't think 3 moves is going to help you, brother. That team bench warmers has, I mentioned it earlier, I think he is primed and ready. And I honestly feel like, Josh, you might be jumping into the spots held by Big Bad Vlad, myself, or Eric before season's end. That would be a resurgence, sir, from the bottom, and now you're here. Mandalorians versus Rally Monkeys. This is going to be a good matchup because Mandalorians is looking to hold on to that top 6 spot, and Rally Monkeys is looking to extend his 15-game lead. That's right, 15 games now. He's got 15 over Nick and 15 and a half over me. If he wants to just really divide and conquer and lock in that first place position, this week might actually be one that he looks at and says, this could be it. Because, man, if he pulls away by 20 plus, goodbye, sir. I mean, go ahead and lock him in. He's going to have bye week number 1, and he's going to be in the top 4 by season's end. Big Bad Vlad versus Swinging Low. Eric, I'm so sorry for your scheduling. If at all you thought that it was getting to, the sun was rising, the horizon was looking bright, no, sir, you face now the second best team in our league. And even though Big Bad Vlad is coming off of a loss and you're coming off of one of the biggest wins, if not the biggest win of your season this year, nothing can prepare you for that which is Big Bad Vlad and the team that he has waiting to just knock you back down to earth. And here we are, Rayford Peaches versus Red Sox Nation. These are 2 teams in the bottom 4, and Jason wants nothing more than to, I don't know, look at the fact that I just won 11-0 and get him some of that. That's right. But Ray herself, she can make some moves as well to her roster to better it, and she has the potential to still be a threat because I know I was feeling threatened until about Friday night. So I believe I was able to cover all the things that I wanted to talk about when I put a pin in, because I discussed about how Walker had that 15-game lead and how much I couldn't stand his bullshit. I think I've addressed that as well. Happy AllStar week, everybody. And I believe that's where we're going to leave it. Right under 40 minutes. Super excited. Hope everybody's having a great week. I know it just started, but enjoy the All-Star game tomorrow. Enjoy the home run derby today. And yeah, that's all I got. And yeah, guess we're going to sign off out of here right at the 40-minute mark. Well, let's go ahead and say it. Who's the matchup of the week? I did not deem that one. It's got to be, man, we got wow, all top 6 of the teams are playing off against each other. This is a toughie. Bench warmers versus Nah, I can't do it, man. I want to, Josh. I just feel like your team's going to be dominant. You know? Let's see. What do we got here with this? It's going to be a doubleheader. Swinging Low versus Big Vlad, and myself versus Trippin' Billies. Shane's 3.5 games back from Eric, and Eric's looking to extend his winning streak or winning to 2 weeks to make a streak. And I'm looking to separate myself from Eric. So this is a big week for us bottom 4 teams, for 2 through 5. But then again, I mean, Walker versus Mandos. That's a good one too. Maybe there's 3. 2 with a subsection of 1 more. So pretty crazy. All right. I went over 40 a little bit. I'm sorry. Love you guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.